I have watched a lot of horror movies this year, 50 at least, and I can say with absolute certainty that none of them have actually scared me, not properly. 50 might sound like a lot, but on closer inspection, 16 of those are from the Puppet Master series, which is a borderline parody in its own right. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise, which obviously sounds horrifying at a first glance, absolutely stumbles after the first installment. It's a total joke, including the new Netflix movie. Don't even get me started, believe me. The Halloween franchise was spooky, but above all it was revolutionary at first, and then went on autopilot for a while. Show me a single person that got intimidated past the third installment of the original run and I'll give you a cookie. The franchise that came closest to scaring me actually ended up unnerving me, and that was more than enough. That's of course the carved movie duo that isn't totally region locked. I made an entire video talking about them. But listen, why the hell am I telling you this? Well, it's quite simple to be frank. Just when I thought there wasn't a single thing that could properly scare me, something came out of the blue that released some sort of untapped, infinite fear. It does it more effectively than a big budget horror flick, and it's more unknown than the most bottom of the barrel direct to DVD production you can think of. To anyone who's seeing this video, the thing I believe scares me the most is a 2009 Flash game called Free Ice Cream. When I made the video on Carved, I'd seen the movie the day I made it, after a few hours of research which gave a genuine reaction, but that has nothing on Free Ice Cream. I first heard about this game this morning. Truth be told, I haven't really felt the same since, so you know what, I'm just going to show it to you. Here is the game icon, and this is the menu that appears on Newgrounds. Just look at it. I'm searching for the term that describes this right, and it's like nothing works. Obviously the art style intrinsic to every Flash game, self-made character pictures superimposed on a low quality background. On a larger scale, the bright background juxtaposed with the obvious centre of attention, a dirtied white van with red text that says free ice cream. What tops it all off is the discordant, haunting, short ice cream music loop that serves as a title theme. Just something about this picture as it's presented, tied with that specific track, already awakens something. And this isn't one of those games which presents itself up front as being a cute game about ice cream. I showed you the game icon, and this is the first thing you see. Nobody is getting tricked by that. So what's going on here? Well, it seems like two girls have come across a white van while on a walk in a beautiful sunny day in crispy PNG town. Now obviously this is a kidnapping setup. I didn't even realise at first that there was a guy in the van. I thought the window was just black and we couldn't see through it. Again, the dark contrasting the light, the childhood innocence, the unsuspecting minds believing their promised ice cream. And now I'm just going to press play and see what could possibly happen next. Okay, hold the phone. We go directly from that to this, with nothing more than a short black screen in between. There's no text, and a kidnapping scenario is about the most expected thing after that title screen, but it just still comes as a surprise. Think about how much time has passed. Well, to be fair, there is something that happened between the menu and this, and that's the game icon I mentioned earlier. This takes place between the menu and the main game. The main girl, our player character on the left, follows the trope of having no name, but the blonde girl on the right, she's called Lily. Anyway, the two girls have walked to the van, the back doors have opened, and the crazed chef character is literally moments away from the kidnap which sets the game in motion. But look a little closer here. Only one of the girls is clearly frowning. Our character has realised something is wrong, which is just as well because she was the one who wanted ice cream in the first place. Lily is still smiling. She's still optimistic. The full extent of her fate hasn't hit her yet. The fact that Lily still doesn't know yet, paired with the innocent child instinct that got them here, introduces such a massive degree of horror so quickly and so effectively. The game preys on manifesting real-world anxieties, and this is a perfect example of how it's applied masterfully. It's like it triggers something in the human psyche. Something's wrong. You wish you could have stopped these characters in the first place, but they're young, they don't know any better. Where most horror games begin with the good people in a state where they can fight back before placing them in a position of vulnerability, this game does it instantly. These girls were never aware of their actions, and they were never going to be able to fight back. The Flash art style really doesn't do this any favours as well, and that's what will be sending me to my nightmares tonight. So here we are, kidnapped and captured. The girl is already sobbing, as she well should be. We have no idea where her friend is or how much time has passed. The game revolves around Machinarium style point and click, not unusual for Flash games of course, but being able to maintain such a primal state of horror between clicks is really super well done because you never really know what is going to happen. Moving ahead now, we break free from the ropes by cutting them with glass shards on the floor, and then attempt to break free by pushing a wooden display so that we can escape through the air duct. And we almost exceed, but we fail. We're unharmed, but the noise attracts footsteps. At this point, the only thing we can hear is those footsteps. It really does sort of increase a pace, I can't describe it. You've got to move fast and find a place to hide. We're sure that whoever is coming wants you still and wants you quiet. At this point, we're given full control to move as the footsteps still continue to get closer and closer. That discordant ringing of the ice cream truck from only moments ago is still ringing in your ears as you're playing. It builds up, so little creates a feeling of so much. We hide under the stairs, and in comes our enemy. A crazed, bloody guy with a kitchen knife and a chef's hat that sounds like Patrick from SpongeBob. This moment is where I think the game tried too hard. It actually would have been creepier if they didn't speak at all, or if they just made brief grunts. This guy actually sounds like a character from Salad Fingers, but the quality of the audio does make it kinda spooky. Now obviously with the appearance, the rundown house and even the voice, this villain is clearly inspired by Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's no secret, and you'll see as we go on way more connections between this game and the original movie. So Leather Chef runs back upstairs, leaving the door open, despite the fact that his one captive was down here and has now completely vanished. We take our chance when the coast is clear and manage to creep up to a living room / kitchen area. The weird chef dude is once again nowhere to be found. We're able to stumble through this room quite easily, and soon we're in this sort of hallway. There are 2 doors and some kind of electrical breaker covered in cobwebs. Going through the door ahead takes you to this room. What you have to do in this room is hide. It's super easy to get caught here and it happens all the time. Head back to the first room we find and you'll uncover a can of cat food. Put it in the food bowl and the cat will absolutely come running down the hall, scoff the lot and race back to the couch. Moving the stool to reach up to the cabinet reveals an open bottle of rat poison. The cat comes back in much the same way as this time, only now it corks it. Head back into the other room and you'll find 3 things. Our player character tries to phone somebody, but the wire of the phone has been cut. On the right there's a portrait of an unknown man. Could this be the villain that we saw before? Maybe it's their father and the crazed chef from before still has some remnants of respect for family and idolises him. I'm not exactly sure. Something happened at home which made the villain this way, and the portrait has the answer to it. I'm just not sure what it is. On the couch we can find the cat, now deceased because we fed it rat poison, was lying on a feather duster. Walk back out to the hall and clear away the cobwebs to get to the circuit breaker. Here we can restore power to anywhere in the house, but where it counts is down here in the hall. Heading back to the cat poisoning room, we can see a cold steel door. The keypad is now activated and we have to enter a code. We could have just headed upstairs. One of those stair elevators wouldn't have made much more noise than all of these creaky floorboards. And just because it's out of use doesn't mean you can't just waltz up the stairs and escape to outside, but anyway. The code to the steel door is 1977. How you find this out is up to you, but a lot of people will find out from videos, maybe even this one. The code is 1977, there you go. Let's take a step back into the real world. This game is discussed quite a lot in comment sections, and what you'll find most of all is something called the freezer scene. The freezer scene. This game traumatized me as a kid because of the freezer scene, etc. This is what people are saying. What is the freezer scene? Well, behind the steel door is a freezer with lots of hanging meat. Walking straight to the end of the room and pressing on a hanging meat hook reveals none other than Lily herself, frozen and stone cold dead. She'd met her fate long before we arrived. She didn't stand a chance. The killer chef had kept us captive, but our friend, the one who still had so much childlike optimism beforehand, is dead. So much becomes clear here. The rat poison bottle was open because some of it had been used to drug our friend. The driver in the free ice cream van has been doing this for such a long time, as evident from all of the meat in this freezer. We head back into the hallway with the breaker circuit and power is restored to the mystical stair lift that can get us out of here, but Leatherface is back on our trail. We don't have long, so we escape up the agonisingly slow stair lift. When we reach the top, finally the exit is in sight. But it's never as simple as that. We fall through a hole in the ceiling directly onto the evil chef. either knocking them out or flat out killing them with our weight. We ascend to the stairs once again and make our way out to the exit. The final scene, going up the stairs, it just feels so bittersweet. All you're thinking about at this moment is what comes next for her. We know upstairs there's an exit and she'll be able to leave, but look at her, she's frowning. Will she even know how to explain this to anyone? She's going to have to carry the trauma of this day with her for the rest of her life. We're never going to see these characters again. This is their entire story. Although Lily is past, our poor player character has a life to live. What is actually next for her? We have no idea. It's worth also noting that at the very top floor, there is still a locked door and there is no way to open it as far as I'm aware. That's an element of mystery that remains in the game past your exit. Also, it looks like we're walking into some kind of wheat field, which is both like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie and the ending of Portal 2 except before that. We don't get a moment's peace. Finish appears on screen for a matter of seconds before we're met with the horrid, fear-inducing ice cream anthem once again. Well done, McMaster, you created an absolute nightmare. It's a masterpiece, but also an utter nightmare. This game is like a motion creepypasta, like you're watching a nightmare take place before your very eyes. I'd like to reiterate, I haven't slept since I found out about this game, and I don't even know if I'll be able to do it. It has to be said as well that through all of my love of Flash games, horror and the unknown, I never ever saw this game spoken of until today. Its status as a rapidly disappearing, unknown, hauntingly beautiful Flash game contributes to what makes it so special and flat out terrifying. It was even played by the likes of Yummy and iJustine at the height of their game, and nobody even speaks of this game today. Like I said before, taking the characters, story and year of creation into consideration, this game manages to trigger a part of the human psyche, and it's like we're witnessing a manifestation of our fears and anxieties play out in real time. And this game is frequently beaten in around 10 minutes, or even half that. Hell, you can beat it in the time it takes to watch this video. It's such a short and undercover Flash game, with more thought and devotion than the biggest horror franchises in Hollywood, and I stand by that. It's a similar case to the original Cameraman creepypasta, which was popular on Xenopedia before they took it down. A YouTube video intertwined with lore posted absolutely ages ago, with less than 50,000 views in its entire history, though that is largely due to the website being taken down. When you come across this video, it's an achievement, and your reward is a unique kind of nightmare. Today, everyone knows the Cameramen from a certain series of popular viral videos. And that's it. As I record these final few lines, free ice cream is all I've had in my head for hours. I only hope I'm able to recover emotionally. You never know what other people are going through around the world at this time. And that's something we can never change. Overall, it's a fantastically made, underappreciated, underrated masterpiece of Flash gaming and horror in every sense of the word. I mean that genuinely. And that's all I have to say about the game at this time. We've looked through it from start to finish, and I like to think I've cast some light on what makes it so unnerving, but again, this is just my approach. It really is hard to put into words. There are walkthroughs on YouTube, there are pages on Wikias about the characters in this game, and that's about as popular as it's gotten. All I can do is just point you towards them. Anything else that can give you information about this game. And obviously now that Flash is unsupported, download the Newgrounds player and get an SWF of this game. Alright, that's enough. Thanks for watching. I'm not so sure that I'm the only person that watches videos to the end anymore. But for anyone that is watching, the username is Kirby's2Plays. You can sub.
Free ice cream, yo.